Welcome back to Unquiet You. Today we are with TJ again, and we are going to do some rapid questions. We're going to ask some questions. We're both in very similar places of our lives. We're 45, divorced, both at careers we love, doing what we love, and we've known each other for a very long time.
Very long.
And we're both aging backwards, and life is getting better by the day. So we are going to ask some questions that people have asked me just in general, and we're both going to answer them about life in our 40s and careers and all the things. And then there's a couple questions you're going to ask me at the end.
I haven't seen them, by the way.
Yes, you have not seen the questions. Couple of questions that you're going to ask me that some people have asked through my DMs and stuff that I think would be really good to talk a little bit more about. So, okay, I'll start.
Okay.
If your exes got together to talk about you, what would they all agree on?
That like gift giving is my love language. You know, I try to be considerate. In moments that require it, right? Holidays, birthdays,
Yeah.
And then the benign ones. Coming home on a regular Tuesday.
Yeah.
I like.
You're like making all these girls melt right now. Like, oh, if I had a guy, I would give me a guess.
Yeah, I try to, I like seeing it's like seeing my business, I like seeing people happy.
Yeah.
So probably that.
Yeah. I think I would probably say most of them would say I was too opinionated.
Yeah.
And that I was extremely loyal. I do think that, I'm a very loyal person just in general. Like if you're in my crew, like you're in my circle, you're in my circle. That, sometimes I think I'm loyal to a fault, but
yeah. Am I supposed to say something negative too?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just like that is something I thought about. Like that, I know, like even after my divorce, like that's always something that's come up. Is like she's too like bold, like she's too cold and opinionated about everything or whatever. And
yeah,
so I think my whole life I've probably been that way.
No. I mean, when you were younger, you had to. You're fighting.
Yeah.
Right. Because you took on a
challenge. God, do you remember my ex before?
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I remember
Village that I'm at through Village.
You have to remind me later.
Okay, yeah, because you actually, you would remember him because he was so bad for me. But yeah, I was so loyal to him, and I was like, oh, it's kind of weird.
She wouldn't date me, so.
I was dating him.
You wouldn't have dated me if you were dating me.
I think, I also had a rule that I would never date someone that I worked with.
Oh, yeah. It seemed like that really worked out.
Yeah. Well, but I didn't work with him. I did not work with him.
Same industry?
But I was out of the industry. Remember when I met him, I was out of the industry.
Classic story.
Yeah. Good life lesson. I won't do that again.
Right.
Will not date someone in the same industry. But yeah, so.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. Okay, Baron.
Let's talk about dating in your 40s.
Sweet.
What has been the most surprising part of re-entering the dating world?
I think it was that I'm not in my 20s. Like, I think I forgot what dating was even like. And I remember saying, like, oh, if I ever did, like, get divorced or whatever, I would never date again, or I would never. And so I think it's like, I think I expected some of the same things to come up, and it's so different. Like, I've had some interesting people, I've had some married people approach me. I've had some men that are it's just bizarre. I'm like, what is it? Like, really? Like, and I will say, like, I think I've been really lucky meeting the person I've met. Like, we actually became friends last year. He had gone to a similar situation. And so, I knew him just through tennis and stuff. So we had that friendship where it was just kind of like he was like I was like, oh, he's a really nice guy who, like, you could tell he was doing the work on himself. And so I kind of got lucky in that way. I think, I don't want to say lucky, but like, I feel like it worked out well because I didn't have to jump in that dating hole. Because the ones that did approach me, I mean, it was like the minute I was like, people knew I was getting divorced. It was like, hey, and I'm like, yeah, slow your roll. Like, not, because I honestly didn't think I would ever, not that I wouldn't ever date, but I had no desire to date.
I didn't slide the DMs.
No.
No, that's not. I didn't.
No. There were a few. Yeah. So weird. I still get them. It's the most people I know. And I'm like, you're so weird. Like,
it happens to men too.
I'm sure. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I think that was the thing. I was like, I didn't really, I think I just thought like, oh, like I have a friend who was, when she got divorced, she's like, I just started dating. I would do a dinner with a bunch of people. And I'm like, that's just not me. Like I had no desire to meet a bunch of people online. I was not going to do the online thing. No offense to people who do. Like I know people who've met wonderful people, but it just wasn't my thing. I always knew that I'm such a people person. And even in my business, this is interesting. Like most of my clients, all of my clients actually have come because I've met them in person somewhere at an event or speaking or know them or whatever, or a referral from someone else who knows me. And I think that's just how I knew my life was going to end up too. Like if I met someone, it would be through somebody I knew or like some contact or whatever. And yeah, so I think that was probably it's just the weirdness of men in their 40s. Like, no offense.
No,
but,
hey, listen, that could be weird.
Yeah. And then, yeah, just weird. And then people will be like, why don't you date older guys? And I'm like, what is older? I'm in my 40s. Like, well, you should date someone in their late 50s. I'm like, it's just not my jam. I'm like, I don't want them younger and I don't really want them older. I kind of like that.
Now you're dating personality. You're dating character.
Yeah. So, how about you?
I would say probably that I gave away, I don't have any oats to sow. You know what I mean? Like, I had a great time in my 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
I had a good time. So I didn't get into the single world going, oh yeah, let's go party. Like,
Yes.
the opposite. I took a bunch of time before I talked to anybody.
Yeah.
But I gave away preconceived notions because I was saying once I learned to, love myself again and I looked at when I got on the dating apps and such, I looked at people that I would not have dated before. And what was interesting is that with all my photos, right, I went from the preppy whatever I was to now this. So the type of woman that was, was attracted to me was very different.
Yeah.
And it was fun because on the dates and stuff that I went on, some didn't work, but it was really interesting to learn and go out on dates with people that I wouldn't have in the past. And the woman I'm currently dating, I met her at speed dating.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
In my neighborhood, she was the first one I sat down with, and she was very interesting. And
that's actually a really cool way to maybe.
She didn't want to get out of the car, so this is the first thing she had done, as
Oh, going out,
like stepping out. Yeah, and I'm glad she got out of the car.
Yeah.
And we just immediately just kind of clicked.
Yeah.
So. And I went there. It was in my neighborhood, so I went to meet people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Just make friends.
It was just like I want to go and hang out.
Yeah, and I just happened to meet her. So it was great.
I think too, what's been interesting for me dating, well, I say dating, like I've only dated this one person, but is being like getting adjusted to being in a new relationship. Like I think because being married, you're like,
you should be a mom and
yeah. And then it's like, oh wait, I can hang out with somebody different. And like, it was interesting. Like he knows a lot of people in the community. So everywhere we go, like kids that he teaches or whatever sees them or send his parents or whatever. But it was really weird in the beginning because I'm like, I almost felt like, oh, I'm not supposed to be with someone else, like I didn't want to be back with my ex, but it was just kind of like, this is so weird being with like a new person. And like someone said, are you dating? Is he your boyfriend? I was like, oh my God, that sounds like such a child.
Oh, we don't use it. We go, what do you call? And like, this is, does it get other, or
40s? I'm like, I don't.
So I mean, squeeze. I don't like, girlfriend sounds very juvenile.
Yes, I think that's what it is to me too. I'm kind of like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right to me. But I know for me, like that's been a big adjustment. It's like the first time you went out locally, it was just kind of like being with that person, right? Like letting myself fully be with that person. Because for so long I was the married person who, like, I think when you get married, you don't ever plan on getting divorced, right? So like my brain didn't look at like, could you possibly be with someone else? Or so that was kind of a big adjustment.
Well, I think the people don't talk about is the stage after. Then you're the divorced person.
Yeah.
And it's akin to having a disease because you're treated like that by everybody.
Everybody's head tilts. You're like, oh, I got divorced.
You and that actually think's awesome.
And I'm like, actually, it's great. Yeah. I'm like, don't, then they're like, oh, okay. And I remember meeting one lady who I said something about, she said something about, are you married? I said, no, I'm recently divorced. And she said, congratulations. And I was so prepared to be like, no, it's fine. I was like, oh, cool. I like you. But she had been through the same thing. So it was kind of like, I always say like, I think being divorced has been great, but the divorce process sucks.
Yeah.
The healing process sucks.
There's an unspoken bond by people that have gone through divorce and gotten to the other side. And it's like, it's almost like, I don't say it's like a club, but there's an understanding.
There is an understanding. Yeah.
And once you get, because the stigma is really on you.
Yeah.
Because if you give off that energy, that you're the divorced energy, well, then that's what you're going to get in return. So once you get past that, like, I'm not the divorce guy.
Yeah.
I'm just me.
You're just me. Yeah.
And then you can enter the dating world. That's
Yes.
But if you enter it, when you're this, Eeyore of divorce person, well, you're going to be sharing stories, and people do not want to hear that stuff. So if you're not ready, don't do it.
And you don't want to hear their stories. That's what I always tell people. I'm like, you're telling them your sob story. They don't want to hear my shit. And because you don't want to hear theirs either. Like, there's no, yeah, I mean, I remember early, like, we haven't been dating, like, seriously that long, but in the very beginning, I remember, like, I was like, okay, I've done so much work. I've healed. He's done a lot of work. He's healed. Like, and then something came up, a few months ago, and I was like, oh, I've got to step back. Like, I can see this version of me is not healed. And so I told him, I was like, I'm going to have to step back and, like, work through this. And he was like, that's cool. Like, and he was there. Like, there was no, but also I'm like, there's no rush. Like, it's not like we want to get married and have kids. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Like,
not doing it again.
you're not going to get married. Oh my gosh, that's one of our questions. What?
No way.
I think I do want to be married again. I loved being married. Well, here's what I'll say. I would be fine either way.
Mm-hmm.
But I did love being married. Like, I love the idea of being in love and being married. I'm not
against commitment.
I know. And I know what you're saying. Like, that your process was socks, right? And yeah, I mean, I could see both ways, right?
Yeah.
But
for some people, it's wonderful.
Yeah. And I think too, like, there's parts of me that sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I would love to be married again. And then I'm like, but then there's also parts of me that's like, I'd be fun. I mean, I would love not being married again and, like, having a companion, and that's fine too. I just think it depends. I don't know,
I think, I mean, I remember, like, my grandmother, right? She had Jimmy, and it was like almost like your grandfather. They dated for 30 years, right? I mean, there's always those couples that they live in separate houses. They, they have their own lives, and then they get to, and I think that works.
Yeah.
I personally, I didn't like that business, or that marriage for, like, a business transaction, especially at the end. I mean, that was the worst part.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, if you were dissolving a business, and it was very contentious and very filled with vitriol.
That was actually really hard for me. I mean, we definitely didn't go through the same thing you went through, but I do remember, like, getting an email from him, and I was like, oh my God. Well, he treated everything like a business transaction. That's just how his brain worked, right? Like, he was all business all the time. But then I was like, I was your wife. Like, I raised your kids. Quit talking to me like a business transaction. And then, so that part sucks, because I'm like, I never treated him like a transaction, like, so that part did suck. And there is a part of me that's like, I don't ever want that again. Like, I don't ever want to be like, we have to divide this and we have to do, like,
and by the way, she feels the same way too. She won't do either.
Yeah, really.
So, yeah. I think that's something we'll talk over.
Because you guys had similar situations, and yeah. And I think too, when kids are involved, I mean, that is something that, like, I have tiptoed very lightly in. I think I had went through a lot of heartbreak with my stepkids, and I mean, I love my stepkids, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But going in, like, when I got divorced, I was like, it's time to focus on what you really do want. Like, quit talking about what you don't want. Like, so I didn't take any qualities of my ex that I didn't want. I'm like, what do you want in a partner? Like, what is it? And I think that's why I was attracted to the guy that I'm seeing now. Like, he's kind of like, I don't want to say dorky. I call him a dork all the time, but he's a biology teacher. So, like, he's always thinking about these things I don't think about. Yeah. And I also thought I would never date teacher. Yeah. But
summers off though.
Yeah, he does have summers off. Yeah. But I mean, he's so funny, but he's just so genuine, and he's like we actually bonded over Friends. Like, all the kids were talking about something, and we, like, both made a joke about a Friends. They knew nothing about Friends. And Leah, because she watches it with me all the time, but I was like, he's just such a genuine person. Like, but he has 2 kids. Yeah. One's in college at UC, actually. And then one's in middle school, and it's hard. Like, there's a part of me that's like, we're going to tiptoe into this one. Like, I'm not jumping straight in like I did before. Luckily they have an amazing mom who's very involved in their lives. So that makes much of a difference. But yeah, dating someone with kids is different. I mean,
she has 3.
Yeah.
17, 14, and 11. And they're all great. They're all boys.
Yeah.
All boys. But she didn't let me. She didn't introduce me to them until think March of this year.
Yeah.
And that was well after we had met. And the poignant thing she told me was, they don't need a dad.
Right.
A dad.
Yes.
I want somebody for me.
Yes.
And that resonated with me.
Yeah. And it's hard too. I mean, I think that's kind of where we both have parents on other sides, so we're not looking for that role to be filled. But I do think when you're with someone, you do have a role in their kids' lives, and I think
you take time from their kids. You know?
Yeah. So I mean, it's been an interesting, like, you know, it's just an interesting road to go down when you're dating somebody's kids. Shit. Okay.
Is it my question?
No, I think it's mine.
Oh, it's your question. Yeah.
Okay. If you had to give your love life a podcast title, what would it be?
Or like overall?
Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah. Maybe
that's actually pretty good. Yeah.
Maybe something on that, you know.
Yeah. I thought this one was kind of funny because I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like in some ways, like my love life, I don't want to say it's boring because it's not boring, but it's like, I don't have like extreme highs and extreme lows. Like my divorce clearly was a low and whatever, but like looking back, I would be like, yeah, I mean, I think it's like, mine was like, you know, you just get all of it. Like there's really, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like it's just kind of, because I show up in all of those arenas every day. I felt
right. Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes I'm like, well, that was really mean, or like, you know, and sometimes I'm like, I didn't mean you know, whatever. Or I'll get really edgy, and you know, I've learned now the older I get, sometimes I'm just like, hey, today's just one of those days where I just got a lot of things on my mind, or like I'm going through a lot, like, just, you know, and he'll bab off. He'll be like texting you, you know, or something, or he'll send me like a friend's reference or something that makes me laugh. But yeah, that's that when I saw that question, I was like, shit, you get all of it.
I'm sure if I had more time, I could think of plenty.
Yeah.
My marketing mind would go into overdrive, but
yeah, you do. Yeah.
But right now, good, bad, day. Like,
yeah. I I actually think like my podcast title, Unquiet You, like that would probably be good because I'm not quiet. Like I'm pretty. And if I really, like, especially now, like, I'm so open in this relationship that sometimes I, like, surprise myself with how open I am, so. I
think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
My turn?
Yep.
What is your biggest turnoff on a date?
I think my biggest turnoff for men in general, one, are men who have children who don't see their children. Mm-hmm. That's a huge turnoff. Also people who talk about money. Huge turn off
on my list.
Yeah, like that drives me insane.
It's created. What they call ick.
Yes,
that's my dick.
Ick. Yeah.
That's my ick.
So I would say those two things probably. And someone who bashes their ex.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't mean. There's a difference in like telling the truth. Like this is what happened.
There's factual stories, and then there's going into context.
Yeah.
You know, and throwing your opinions on it.
I always say whenever you're dating someone and they are like, oh, my ex is crazy, I'm like, run. Because the ex may be crazy, like been down that road. But also I feel like, why were they crazy? Is it because of you? Like it very easily could have been you, the one that made them crazy, you know, or whatever. So yeah, the bashing of the ex is such a turn off.
You know why bashing of the ex is bad? Is because then you become the person that, in some circumstances, they would have said you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so if you don't want to become that person, don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to speak on that, but I don't think a smear campaign is right. I don't think that's necessary. But my turn off on a date, I don't like name dropping. That doesn't mean saying.
Hate that.
And
especially where we live, right? Like I feel like people are like always dropping names. Like,
that
nobody cares.
That maybe this is a woman thing, and this is not meant to be misogynistic whatsoever. But they start saying all the things that they want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but what it is it's like almost like an interview. Like, are you going to give me this? And I go, ugh.
Yes.
Like I want this, but they have these arbitrary like questions or checklists in their head. Like the guy has to meet all these things, and you go, that is not. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's interesting because a lot of my clients are single and we work on what you want in a partner or whatever. And so whenever it's materialistic, I'm like, well, let's check in because that is, like, that's to me, that's a big turn off. No, like, I'm like, I don't like that. Um, okay. Have you ever been like, if you're going to be really honest, have you ever regretted being too nice in business or love?
all the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think you still do it?
I think I have the proclivity to still do it, but I think now I have the weapon, internal weapon of stopping myself.
Okay.
I talk about gift giving,
Yeah.
right? My dad always had a saying, and it was to be good is great. To be too good is for shit.
Yeah, I like that.
Because to be too good,
I'm gonna quote your dad on that.
he's the best. He is, oh my God, he's the master of quotes. But to be too good is for shit, right? Because you're gonna get railroaded, you're gonna get run over. Um, in business, I think I might have done that more in my early career.
Yeah.
Because I was so hungry and I didn't get paid.
Yeah.
And it, to roll over a lot, I think is something I did more when I was younger, but I rolled over a lot in relationships. And I think, that really tipped the scales of, I don't say power, but, it led to being, obviously taken advantage of. And I think sometimes, love can get what you're doing can get conflated into love, and it's not. And,
A false.
yeah, like, if they know you're going to provide X, Y, and Z without compromise, without question, well, then it becomes a one-sided relationship where, of course, you can get taken advantage of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, this is something I've always struggled with was being too nice. And like, even in my early days of work, I would put up with, there's like a couple men that we worked with at Millage that they were horrible. And I think I probably put up with, like, now I would be very not nice to those people. But I did that because I was young and I was a woman. And I remember before I joined Village, when I was in the corporate real estate world, it was all men, older men. And they felt like they were, like, I hate to stereotype, but they were the type of men who thought they could speak to women however they wanted to. And there was a lot of times where I would just suck it up and be like, okay, well, this is just, part of it. You're the young girl, they're the old guy, whatever. I think I did that a lot. And I think in relationships, I was always the nice person, but because I just wouldn't tell my emotions. I'd be like, well, they're having a bad day, so I'm not going to talk about my day, or I'll overcompensate for them, or, like, I would overdo things for other people all the time. And the whole time it was like building up inside of me that, and I think that's too why I'd searched for validation for so long, because I'm like, I keep doing for you. Why can't you do for me? Or like, when am I going to be enough for you? So I did that a lot, I think, in relationships now, or, early on. And I think in business, my ex used to say, like, you work more than anyone I know for free. Like, you help more people for free. And I'm like, it's just like, I would see someone going through something and I'm like, oh, like, I can help you work through this. And so I think in the beginning, I was probably too nice. I took on too many free clients. I would, the single moms, like, situations I had been in or whatever. And I'm like, I get it. Like, I've been down that road and I know I can help them. And normally when you do something for free, of course, the person either doesn't follow through or they take what they learn and they run, right? Like, there was no, like, coming back and, like, I don't know. There was just nothing on my end coming out of it. And so, I would say now I'm definitely, like, I tell people all the time, I'm not the nice girl anymore. I'm very kind and I'll give anything to anyone and help anyone I can, but I'm not going to do it at the expense of my.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference. I think, fortunately, probably unfortunately, I'm in one of those businesses where everybody has an opinion, and anywhere, any dinner party I go to, like, the dentists or doctors, like, I'll talk about the wisdom tooth they extracted, or the heart or whatever it was,
Right.
So nobody's gonna ask them about that, but everybody's gonna ask, how's the market, how's this, how's that. So you have people calling you all the time, for your advice that is worth a lot.
Yeah.
Now I'm at the point, like, I'll give you my advice, right? But occasionally I've been, I almost use the word screwed over, but you'll give people all the information, and then you'll see a sign in their yard with somebody else, and you go, Or the best is, hey, I got my house listed. What do you think about this? And they want advice. I'm like,
You have an agent.
you have an agent, and
Yeah.
there's why are you calling me?
Yeah.
No, I don't say that.
Right, of course.
Right. But I mean, if it's something detailed related, I have to go, I can't tell you that because that's a law.
Yeah.
Like, you have to talk to your guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be, where
Yeah.
where I could have been too nice.
Yeah. I think too, I've noticed this has come up in a lot of conversations with my mom friends that are like they're entrepreneurs too, but it's overly supporting other people and not getting it back. Like that's an interesting world where I'm so nice. Like I want to support everyone. So if you open a small business, I'm going to come buy some piece of shit thing I'm never going to use. Or if you sell t-shirts, I'm probably going to buy one, and I don't wear t-shirts. So I'm not ever going to wear a shirt, but I will support you and I'll do all the things. And then as like my business has changed and grown and like things coming out and like people aren't supporting me back, like that's been a really hard transition of like, oh, you're like, you literally will do anything to support other people and they don't do it back to you. And so I really had to check in with myself on that and realize that like, it's not my job. I used to think in some ways it was my job to like save all the small businesses. And so I would like over support them and do all that. And now I'm like, no, it's not my job.
I'm going to say something that may be controversial, but I think you should always pay full price for your friends.
100%.
Do you think that people say that to me?
Oh, God.
0% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're in a business where we can.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But I can't ask that of any of my friends.
Right.
What are you gonna get a discount on? My teeth? No.
Yeah.
I mean, so now do I?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I get that.
But if I was in that position, right, that's why my friends have small business. I will use them.
Yes.
And I don't want the discount.
Yeah.
Right. I'm using you. Right.
Right.
Because you're a professional, et cetera, et cetera. I'm gonna pay, but other people pay.
Yeah.
Right. And now, I think going back and back and back to somebody, I mean, occasionally you build a relationship where, they may maybe cut your deal or make your favor down the line.
Yes.
Right. But if I'm coming for a onesie, twosie, I'm going to pay full price.
Yes. I know. I think about that all the time. Like, I'm always like, because people do come to me and they're like, hey, will you coach, this person for free? And like, or what? And I'm like, yeah, I don't do that anymore. Like, I'm not giving. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't walk into your store and be like, hey, give me a discount. We could
sell me a car at cost.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not gonna do that.
Okay, you're next.
What advice would you give to someone who is afraid to start over in love after a breakup?
Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think having to look through it with different lens, right? Like I think I would say healing first, like healing yourself first and like falling back in love with this version of you, and creating whatever version you want. Like I feel like this version of me that I've worked on these last few months and created, I'm more in love with her than I've ever been my whole life. But so I think the healing part too, but I also think like you have to go in through it with a different lens. Like we were talking about, dating is so different now. And so I had to go into this with the understanding that like, I'm not going in to date my ex. Like I'm going in with a clear, open view and like, I'm a different person. I'm a different version of me. Like, so I want to show up with completely open eyes, like with nothing jaded from my past.
Yeah. I think I think relationships, men, women, men, whatever, right? Love relationships. I think it's a construct, right?
Yeah.
I think you don't need it. And I think if you can get to the point where you go, and that goes along with loving yourself on.
Yeah.
But you don't need it. You don't need somebody.
Yeah.
Unless you absolutely want them and they want you for who you are, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Right. But you don't need anyone to make you happy. And, if you do, you got to keep working on to make yourself happy. Mm-hmm. That would be my advice. You don't need it. Until you feel like you don't need somebody, don't do it.
I know. And I think that's too, like, people ask me, I have a lot of divorced friends that are like, they struggle to find people or whatever.
My relationship may be the most unhappy I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why would I go seek that out?
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to go step on the courthouse steps and be like, hey, you just got divorced, want to get married? Like, no, nobody's going to want to do that.
Yeah.
you know?
But I also think, like, for me, and I think too with you and your relationship now, like, I went in, like, this relationship came to me because I didn't need it.
Yeah.
And I was totally fine not having it. And so I think that's why it's like genuinely, like, we're not rushing to the altar, or we're not right. Like, I'm like, I don't care how long it takes, right? Like, we're just enjoying the moment we're in. And that's like, but I don't need it. And I think that's what makes it so much more fun is like, I don't need him, and he doesn't need me.
Yeah.
Like, so when we're together, it's just like we're together because we want to be. Like, we're choosing to be together. Like, there's nothing the other person can give.
Well, I think that's how people give up too,
Yeah.
right? They're like, especially in marriage, right? They're not going to go anywhere. They can be, I can be a shithead today, or what are they going to do? Leave? No, I can avoid this person today. I can be a dick, whatever it is, right? And I think maybe that's one of the issues I do have, with it. I think, if you truly love somebody, you should be able to have the power at any time to leave if you're not happy, because it empowers the other person to treat that other person as well as they possibly can. And vice versa. If I know you're not going anywhere, or if I know it's going to cost you money to leave, like, you're gonna by nature go to default, which is, maybe treating somebody poorly. And I think that,
but I think that goes back to too, like, the old generation of what people thought marriage was, right? Like, I think that whole veil is being stripped, and people are changing that process of you get married, you stay married forever. Like, yeah, marriage isn't all, and I don't believe marriage is always supposed to be easy. I do think it's work, but I think it's when two people do the work on themselves and understand, like, yeah, there's going to be things that come along the way that we got to work through. And we're not always going to agree and all the things. But I think as a society, I mean, this is how I was raised, that you get married and you never get divorced, no matter how bad it is, no matter how miserable. And then I think this is why you see these women who are now in their 50s and 60s figuring this shit out. And they're like, I want to go be free and do the eat, pray, love, and do all the things, right? And it's like, they're figuring out, like, I don't have to stay with this man who has treated me. You don't even have to be treated bad. If you're ignored, that's shitty, right? Like, so I mean, that's kind of where I'm at, is like, I think if I was to get married again, I would just have that feeling of like, you're giving me as much as I'm giving you. Like, we have to both show up.
And I guess you both have to show up.
I'm totally going to be invited to your wedding next year.
Get the hell out of here. It's not happening. You know, I lost what I was going to say, but
because you're thinking about marriage.
I think that, both people, right? Like, if you know that the other person can leave at any time, right? You're going to want to, treat them as best as you possibly can.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that, unfortunately, and marriage is very different now.
Yeah.
Our parents got married. You had to court somebody, which I like, but you had to, you didn't have cell phone. You had to pick them up. If you called them, like, yeah, remember, like, hello, is Amy there?
Yeah.
It has to be like, and you had to call, right? So it was a whole different thing. But now you have options in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right? You could be watching a movie with your significant other. They can be talking to somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Which happens.
Yeah. I remember when I started dating my ex, he would text me, right? We were like texting. And finally, he would ask these like deep questions over text. And I'm like, finally, I said, listen, I'm not doing this. Like, if you want to talk to me, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And so that's what he would do once his kids would go to bed. We would have these long conversations. But I think that's why we got to know each other so fast, is because we didn't get to see each other a lot in the beginning, but we had these conversations. But I do agree. I think now, like, people are DMing each other, or like we're Snapchatting or whatever. Like, or
attention is 2 seconds away.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's very different. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. If I was to give you a little truth serum, what is one thing you would admit about your divorce that you usually would keep to yourself?
Some good things. You go first. So
okay. I would say two things. I would say, one, I knew it was coming long before I admitted it. Like, I think I knew quite a ways back that it was coming.
Sure.
And two, how I thought I was so prepared. Like, I spent a year before we even said the words divorce. I kind of saw the writing on the wall. And so I just believe if you're going to leave something, like, put your all into it, so you're leaving it on good terms. And so I did that for basically a year. And so I thought I had really worked through a lot of things. And I didn't realize how shitty I would feel. Like, I didn't realize the emotions that would come up of like, I would spend a lot of time like back to our very first date, right? Like all these things would come up and these layers were coming through, and I'm like, holy crap. And then like there was a part of me that was like, you've been played for all these years. Like, how did you not see some of these things? And then another part of me was like, how did you walk away from that? Like, so I think for me, it was, I didn't realize the pain I was going to feel after
Yeah.
after it actually, it wasn't so much like by the time we got to the divorce, like the whatever judge or whatever, we were laughing and like we were laughing together and stuff. um I think I'd worked so hard to prepare for that day.
Yeah.
But I just didn't realize like when I moved here how it was like these emotions just kept flooding, and I'm like, and I questioned everything. Like I honestly had never questioned my life myself as much as I questioned those first few months of this is the worst heartbreak I've ever felt, because I thought I was so prepared. I thought I'd figured it all out.
I didn't have heartbreak. And even sitting here now, it's crazy because there's fear of saying the wrong thing because that person is still out there. And I I was fearful because everything I said,
Yeah.
it was it was an emotionally abusive relationship. I'll say that. Um, and even now to say like I'm watching my words because this person's out there, and the retaliation for all those things,
Yeah.
it gives me anxiety. It was way worse than I even have talked about.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but
No, that's the truth.
but I don't talk negative about
No,
people.
I don't yeah.
And even her, as much as I could, and I don't.
Yeah.
But sitting here now, I'm like,
Interesting.
I can't say
Yeah.
all the things. It was I've lost friends, and for good reason.
Yeah.
That decided to believe a certain story. And yeah, it was way worse than even people know.
Yeah.
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 That's a real moment there.
That is a real moment.
Phew. Yeah, can we lighten the mood a little bit? Can we lighten the mood? All right.
All right, go.
What did becoming a step parent teach you about patience, leadership, or love?
Want me to go first?
Sure.
I think that I mean, I didn't know what a step parent was. Like, I'd never really seen what step parenting was before I jumped into it, other than like Cinderella. And my mom was a stepmom, but my siblings lived really far away, so it wasn't the same. I think I went into step parenting thinking like, oh, I'm just going to be like the step parent, right? Like, I'm going to be there, or whatever. And then for me, I kind of had to jump into act like the full time mom, but you don't get the full time mom thing. So I think what it taught me was like these kids needed me so much. Like, looking back, the emotions, like kids go through so many things we don't always understand and see. And so I think that was, I could see them as human beings.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they taught me, that even at an early age, like they are humans with real emotions and they matter. And so I think that helps me. But I think also being a step parent, I learned like that's how I learned about narcissism. That's how I learned about um, personality traits that I had never dealt with my whole life. And so I learned how to like that people will actually try to play you. And like, so I learned a lot of things of like how I presented myself to the world of like, it's a weird thing to be called a mom and to be told to act like a mom to certain kids, but you don't get to say you're the mom, and actually like you don't get to make any decisions either, but we expect you to do everything. And so I think for me, it really helped me learn, especially in business, to stand up more for myself. Yeah. But also like even, I mean, I had a kid, and I don't think Taylor got the best version of me when he was younger. I always say I think he got probably the worst version of me because I was so unhealed and so young, and like I was literally fighting every day to keep food on our table. But I think he got the best version of me when he was a teenager. Like I was such a better person then. And I think having these stepkids and seeing them as human beings that matter and have their own emotions, and they were all so different.
Yeah.
Like like every day you would be like on this roller coaster of emotions. And I just learned that you shift, right? Like you can't treat every kid the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's helped me in life to understand that, when people say like, oh, it's just that creatine thing, and I'm like, quit lumping people together, right? Like I don't lump people together anymore because everybody goes through things differently and at different stages. And we're all humans having our own experience.
Right.
Like not every 12-year-old goes through the same thing, right? Like, so I just think that having them helped me understand that every person is a human with a different experience.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I did have a stepdaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the absolute hardest part about it. And I guess that's part I don't talk about. Um, I wasn't really allowed to parent, but I was expected to take care of everything else.
Yeah.
Financially, all those things. Um, the driving to school, and I went to all the events, and I did all the father-daughter stuff, and and I loved that stuff.
Yeah.
But when it came to like disciplining stuff, like I had to run everything through.
Yeah.
And there's only one thing I ever wanted to tell her, and I didn't get the opportunity to because I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah.
And I just wanted her to know that not all men leave. Her biological father, wasn't really around or isn't really around that much.
Yeah.
And I was around.
Yeah.
And I left, but I never had the opportunity to say why.
Yeah.
And I think she knows why, and I hope she knows why. And I do love her very much, and I want her to have the best.
Yeah.
But it's not my place to interfere, and I haven't. But it's a very it's hard because I don't have any children of my own, right? That was my kid. And now, it's funny. Christmas time, I have a room in my house. I call it the kids' room. So my niece and nephew come over, watch movies upstairs. So I just call it the kids' room because I never go up there.
Yeah.
And my dad, he didn't mean anything. He just kept saying, you call it the kids' room. You don't have any kids. So to drive me to the airport at Christmas, this is in 23, and I just start sobbing, crying. And I said, Dad, I got to tell you, like, you can't do that. And I didn't realize till that moment that I lost a child.
Yeah.
Because I didn't let myself really think about it. So that's very different in Silver.
Yeah.
It's not a regret, right? Because I did everything I could.
Yeah, for sure. And you blessed her life. Like
I hope I did.
And more than likely, she knows.
I hope so.
She knows deep down the things that you want her to know.
She's a good kid. She's a smart kid.
Yeah.
And I hope she knows.
Yeah.
And I hope that she got good lessons from me. And that's all I think that's all you can hope as a parent.
Yeah.
I say that, and it sounds so odd,
No, I don't think it does at all.
It was 7 8 years of my life, right?
Yeah,
so,
sure.
She was...
You want to bond.
She was 6.
Yeah.
She was 6, and now she's in high school.
I think that's what I wish more people understood. I try not to judge people when they move on or do whatever, like get married multiple times or whatever, but I don't think people realize, like, it sucks when you divorce and it's like the stepkids are no longer yours, right? It's like you go from being like they're everything all day to all of a sudden you have no rights, no whatever. And that happened to, like, when we divorced, I actually didn't even think about the kids because we were a family, and I just assumed because we stressed so much, like, we're a family, we're all sticking together, we're staying together. And one of the stepkids she had kind of gone her separate ways from me years before, but another one it was like we were fine the day before we said we were divorcing, but afterwards, done.
Yeah.
And it sucked. Like, there was a part of me that was like, I was the only human in this person's life who never strayed from her. Like, I accepted her for who she was. I was the one who was there for her, all that, like, her mom wasn't, her dad wasn't, her extended family. They never had anything to do unless it was for pictures or camera. And I'm like, I was the only person who showed up for her all the time, and yet she cut me off like that.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was like, wow, I didn't even think about what a divorce would do to that part, and I've worked hard to keep the other relationships, because they are my kids. Like I've known them since they were little. Like I did everything for them. So it's just interesting. I don't think people understand that when you divorce, you're not just divorcing your spouse, especially with someone with kids. Like you have a bond that sucks, and it sucks for the kid.
Well, and I took that on. Yeah, and I don't. It's not a, something to be, rewarded or anything. But I took that on, and it, I wasn't allowed to do what I thought,
Yeah.
the what a parent, could do.
Yeah.
So I probably got the full experience, but I got to handle all
Yeah.
the financial part of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is it my turn?
I think so.
Okay. What is the most rebellious thing that you've ever done?
Oh God.
You're way wilder than I am.
The most rebellious thing I've ever done. I mean, when I was in high school, I mean, we would go drink in the field. Like we had these dunes behind this Dairy Queen. We'd all go back there, drink our boons.
Buddy's from Strawberry Hill.
Yeah, MD 2020. It's before cell phones, thank God.
We had pagers. Did you have a pager?
I did not have a pager. No.
We had pagers.
No, I'd have a pager. I think I had my first cell phone until I was a sophomore in college. It was Nokia with the snake game on it.
Elf.
It's rebellious. I had a great childhood in high school. I got any rules in high school. I only gone. One big mistake in life, don't make it. I didn't make it. I didn't have a curfew.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to college, I'd already done all the things.
That's true.
So no, yeah, I mean, I'm not super. Like, I never did anything like super against the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I don't. I mean, looking back when I was a kid, like I did some stupid stuff, like driving and drinking at 16.
Yeah.
Probably stuff I shouldn't definitely like.
Sure.
Like, what the hell were you thinking? But I don't know. I never broke the law besides speeding. But I mean, I would say like my most rebellious thing when I was 21, I was dancing on a bar in downtown Nashville at Bar Nashville. You could dance on the bar.
Remember when I danced at the Christmas party, kept my head.
Yep. When I danced at Bar Nashville and I fell and cracked my nose,
Yeah.
got stitches and all the things, like that was probably my like wildest moment. But I mean, I would say my most rebellious is divorcing. Like it was going against the grain. I think it was. I think it was something a lot of people just chalked it up as like, this is the way you live. Like you're happy enough, so don't like. Who are you to rock the boat? When I after we decided on our divorce and kind of started telling people, I was shocked at the amount of people in his circle that reached out to me and said, like, that's so courageous of you. Like, I feel like you had the courage to do something that most people would never do. And I know what they meant. Like, people don't leave that thing.
Maybe maybe the boundaries that we've set. Maybe that's the most rebellious thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it too. Like, I mean, I don't have relationships with my family. Sure. Like, I've kind of put those hard boundaries in place. But I mean, I think divorcing, it was going against the grain of like what society and what the big picture, I was choosing myself for once. And I've always had kids, so I've never chosen myself. And so I think that was kind of a big one for me. It was just being like, I'm choosing me. And I chose me not in a selfish way, meaning like every decision I've ever made, I've always thought of my kids and prepared for how they would take it, or like how this would interact with them, or not interact, but like how this would affect them or whatever. But also it was like, no, this is my time. Like for the longest time, even with my kids as they become adults, I've always kind of been at the bottom of they've always known I would be there forever. So it was like, we can kind of shit on mom and like put her at the bottom of the list and put everyone else above her, and she'll show up when we're ready for her.
Yeah.
And I think over the last few months, really, I've put my foot down and said, no, like that's not how I'm going to be treated anymore. And, so I think a lot of people are like, whoa, she's going against everything, but I think like putting myself first was probably the most rebellious thing I've ever done.
But now you got me thinking, like, I think in high school, I was kind of like Ferris Bueller in high school. I got away with murder. That my parents went to Europe for like 2 weeks and I didn't go to school for 2 weeks.
Where were your parents when I was a teenager?
Oh, They went to Europe, and they were like, I was driving and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember we lived at the bottom of a hill. I drove to the top of the hill, and then I put it in reverse, went all the way back down the hill, and he was like, dude, I'd already gotten into college.
Oh, so
So
you're like, I'm done.
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I was,
I was the girl who I literally skipped class one day. It wasn't even a day, it was a class. A friend of mine and I went to Shoney's to have the breakfast bar.
how dare you?
And turn around and the damn SRO officer is sitting behind us. And I'm like, are you kidding me? The one class. My sister would like literally walk in school and walk out, and nobody ever said anything to her. And I'm like, one day I skipped one class and I got busted. And then I never, and then my parents went out of town for one night and we had a party at our house.
Yes.
We had a party at our house the same night. Our neighbors decided to have a garage sale the next morning. So at 5 a.m., we were all still up.
Yeah.
Outside. Of course, we were thinking we were quiet. We weren't quiet.
Yeah.
So got busted the one night I'm here in Smyrna town. So they never left us alone again.
Yeah. To my parents' credit, I mean, they're not, all the shit that we did, like they do.
Yeah.
But they didn't, if you didn't push it too far,
yeah,
they didn't give a shit for it.
Yeah.
But I know, and yeah, I mean, they're not stupid.
Yeah.
And just like we're not stupid,
Yeah.
So
I know one of mine came home one time and you could tell she was hungover, and she gave us this great story. She was so believing her story, and I was just like, so it was a great moment because I'm like, I've been there, done that. Like, I remember coming home drunk one night, and my mom, she knew, but I was like playing straight, and I was like, I'm so tired, I'm gonna go to bed. 5 a.m. she's vacuuming my room. Like, she knew. She was just, and I was like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, need to clean the floor. And I'm like, oh.
I was a senior. No, I was a junior. And we went to go see Dave Matthews Band at Beacon Theater in New York City. I lived about 30 minutes outside of Manhattan. And I drove. I was the first one to get my license, so I drove. And I had my 95 Ford Bronco. And we got to the parking garage in Manhattan. And we smoked weed, went to the show. And we got back to my car, and I was like, oh no, I'm still stoned. So I remember I had to sleep in my car. This is before cell phones. So I was sleeping in my car in this parking garage in Manhattan. So like 5 a.m., I'm not stoned anymore. As we drive home, and my dad is just sitting in the recliner. Oh, and that was a fun conversation. So maybe that was the most rebellious thing I had to do.
I mean,
yeah.
How could you imagine sleeping in your car in Manhattan now? Holy cow.
No, I mean, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, remember the commercials? It's 10 p.m. You know where children are?
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you have walked through divorce. What part of that chapter shaped you the most? I think we've covered that briefly.
Yeah. For the most part, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of beaten it to death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me skip over though.
Yep.
Okay.
Skip it.
At this stage, what is your non-negotiable in love, life, and business?
I think in this stage, my non-negotiable is giving up who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think mine is if you don't add anything to my life.
Yeah.
I'm making my circle of friends smaller.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because I'm busy.
Yeah.
Put it this way, if I can't be intimate with you with details of my life, if I can't have deep, honest conversations, heart to heart, well then I don't need you in my life.
Yes.
If I want to share something with you and you're going to go tell other people, I don't need you in my life.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think that's my circle is very small now, and I love it.
In business, if you're going to be a pain in my ass, I'm not coming.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
There's no money in the world worth being treated like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
And I have that with clients. Like if I have clients who don't show up or they always have excuses, I'm like, you know what? We're just going to cut it out. We're done. Like you're wasting my time. You're wasting your time. Like I don't have time for that anymore.
There's only been a few times. I'm always recent, and then as soon as they pick up, it's on hello, right? It's screaming. It's nothing I've done.
Yeah.
And they're telling me how I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah.
And I go, you're gonna call me back, and we're gonna start this conversation over, and you're gonna talk to me like an adult.
Yeah.
Talking to me like I'm some,
Yeah.
nobody.
Yeah.
Right? No, you hired me.
Exactly.
Right? That doesn't mean you get to talk to me. You talk to me like I talk to you.
Yes.
And if you're not going to do that, then we'll just sever this relationship right now.
Yeah.
Right? And they oblige.
And people get back and check. I think, yeah.
Yeah, when spouse texts you while they're doing it and they go, so sorry, well, then it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
But at the same token, it doesn't give you permission if
you don't get to do that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So this comes up sometimes with me where people will ask me like, over our life, I think we have like from childhood on, right? Like you're given names, like people call you names. You have job titles, you have titles in life or whatever. What would you say your favorite title has been so far in life?
Um, uh, Probably son and best friend.
Yeah.
Um, my best friend is Jeremy. He's been we met freshman year of college. He's been in the mud
Yeah.
with me, and I think you need people that get in the mud with you. And what I mean by that is when everything is bad, right? You don't need advice,
Yeah.
right? You don't need you don't need anything other than a person to sit in the mud with you and acknowledge that this is shitty.
Yeah.
And will wait for you until you're ready to dive into it.
Yeah.
And I'll always be thankful for that. His family is my family. They live in here, Kingston Springs. And I think being a son, I think always, I've always looked up to my parents, and they've never failed to say that they're proud of me. My dad's line is, "When I grow up, I want to be you." And I was, it's fun.
Aw.
So those two things I'm probably the most proud of. Business is business.
Yeah.
Titles are whatever.
What would you say your least favorite title is? Or name that you've ever been called?
So I've been called a lot of names. My least favorite restaurant manager.
Oh, you hated that job.
I did, but there's way worse than that. It's not made for TV.
What, you were going to say something else?
Husband?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I could have been a good one, and I feel like at times I was a great one.
Yeah.
But when it's not appreciated or reciprocated, then no.
Yeah,
So,
which is cool. Like I think that would be cool for you to experience that title again, and it's in a much different fold.
Not gonna happen.
Okay, all right, bro. We'll work on that.
I
would say like my favorite title is mom. Like that's something when I was younger, I actually didn't want kids, and I would see people with kids, and I'm like, your life sucks.
Yeah.
But I think like especially now watching them become adults and create their own families, and like the bond Ainsley and I have, I'm just like me, and that's such a cool, like that's been my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
My least favorite name I've ever been called is daughter-in-law.
Ah.
Yeah, I think that was probably like...
That's a whole nother episode, right?
That's a whole nother episode. But yeah, like that's... like, you think about like daughter... I mean, I have my, issues with my family or whatever. But I think the like smallness I felt as a daughter-in-law is something that I would never care to experience again. I mean, I wouldn't mind being someone's daughter-in-law, but it's going to be a hell of a lot different. And I treat my daughter-in-laws very different. So like, that's one of those things where it was a gift in some ways, because I know how I want to treat my daughter-in-laws, who I have great relationships with. But yeah, I would say that that's one of the, and I've been called a lot of names too, but I mean, most of the names I've been called, I just stick in my back pocket and I'm like, cool. Like,
I feel like I should give a disclaimer. I'm not perfect. Yeah. And I was not perfect in the marriage. Like, this is not.
Oh, I mean, neither of us were.
But I feel like that, sometimes I can come off as that, but it takes two, right?
100%.
It was weighted certainly in one direction, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, for sure.
I'm human.
Oh, I mean, there were so many times in my marriage, I'm like, well, I could have done that better, or could have showed up more. I mean, I think had I spoken probably my truth more and not hidden from emotions and whatever, or like tried to protect, things would be a lot different.
You're where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think but we also had our experiences, and I don't think that we can deny those experiences.
No, I wouldn't trade it. Like I said, I wouldn't want to do it again, but I wouldn't trade it.
And that's one thing, like going into this new relationship, like that's one reason why when we talk about things in his marriage or my marriage, and like, I look at it from a wife perspective and he looks at it from a husband, and we've really been able to see like, oh, yeah, we could have handled that one differently, and moving forward, that's how we would show up differently in a relationship. So
is that all the questions?
That's all the questions.
I have one more.
Oh,
can we do this again? I want to do it again.
Yeah.
I want to be on a future episode.
Yeah,
this is
for
fun.
Sure. Yeah, I love this. Actually, wait, you have 4 more. But we've actually already talked about most of these.
Let's say we'll do more questions later.
Yeah, we'll do more questions later, because I feel like we pretty much went through all of these.
Let's do a follow-up on Christmas.
Or on Christmas? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, what are we going to talk about?
Anything.
Okay,
Good job.
perfect. Thanks. All right. Thanks for listening to Unquiet You. And we'll put your info at the bottom of this one too.
Yes.
We will see you later. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for being here and for choosing to be a little louder, a little braver, and a whole lot more you. If this episode spoke to you, I'd love it if you subscribed, left a review, or shared it with someone who needs it. Until next time, keep tuning in to the fire inside. Stay unquiet.